Heart to Heart. Real people having real conversations about things that matter most to you. I'm Sherry Elise.
I'm Cyrus Webb.
I'm Rich Oseguera.
I'm Patrice Tanaka.
And we are Heart to Heart.
Yes. Welcome everyone to Heart, an interactive talk show where you, our audience and our friends get to choose the topic. First thing I want to ask you today is to please share the love by hitting the share button below. Make sure you say hello to us in the comments. Hello, Belinda. Hello, Joey. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what the weather's like. Here in Los Angeles, it is a beautiful day. Spring has sprung, although I feel like it's always spring or summer or some kind of nice weather here. So we just want to know that you are here with us, and we want you to add your heart to the conversation. Don't forget, grab your favorite cup of anything and hop on in. So without further ado, bring on my amazing friends here. Hello, Cyrus. Hey, Patrice. Hey, Rich.
Hello,
how you guys doing?
I'm grabbing my cup.
Good.
Good to see you guys.
Awesome. And we want to say a special hello to our amazing producer who's behind the scenes, Miss Tracy Allen. We love you. Woo! You guys, we got some really cool questions that have come in for us for today's show. One of them is going to be waiting for us in the vault. So can't wait to see which one of these questions. One of them is what have been learned behaviors since or during the pandemic, and what will continue in the new normal? Thank you, Joyce. Liza sent in, why is change the hardest and scariest thing to do? And Diva sent, what does it mean to live a minimal life? So we are gonna find out which one of those is waiting for us at halftime.
I like them all.
Yeah.
I know, there's some good stuff happening. Good morning, Cody. Hello, Sean and Peter. It's so awesome to have you guys here with us. Rich, what's been happening in your world? I'm loving that coral on you.
I was feeling very springy today, so glad you're enjoying the coral. So something really cool happened last week. I got a package in the mail from a friend and wasn't expecting anything from him, and it was this book. Good morning, good night. It's from Lin-Manuel Miranda. And the story about why he sent me this book is this. I posted on Facebook about the new In the Heights movie that's coming out, which is based on the Broadway show. It's one of my favorite Broadway shows. And my friend just happened to see that, and he knew about this book, and I didn't. And he just sent it to me like a random act of kindness. And I was just so blown away and like literally just like so giddy that someone thought of me this way in such a specific way. And I did not know about this book. So I just want to read you a quick little piece from it. It's super quick. It's basically messages that Lin-Manuel posts on Twitter is how this came about. And so every morning and every night he does a little post. And so this one I picked says, good morning. Wake up achy and sad, not alone. Woke up with purpose and joy, not alone. Any way you slice it, you're not alone. Let's go. And then there's an evening like you would read at night, and they're just short, sweet little motivational things. And so that got me thinking, I have things I do every morning, and now this is part of what I'm reading to get me in the mindset because, there's a lot of awful things happening in the world, as we all know very well. And in order for us to give and to be fully present, we have to fill our own cups. And so I'm just curious for you guys, what are like you're in the morning, what are the things you do to feed your soul? How do you get that joy? And I know we have a couple of joy experts here. So Sherry, I'll go to you first. What's your you have to do it every morning?
Oh God. I say that because it's like my OCD, I've got like 10 things. And if I don't do it, I'm like, you better get back and do that. Otherwise you're not going to have a joyful day. The first thing I do is I put my IV of coffee in. No, just kidding. No, the first thing that I always do is when my eyes are closed, or when I'm first come to consciousness, and I've actually fallen asleep like this, is I put my hand on my heart, and I just take that moment, and I always go, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that just brings me into the moment, because I'm not gonna lie, I can go straight into my head and start thinking about all the things that I have to do today, or what's happening in the world. And so this at least connects me to this moment, and to my body, to my life, to my gratitude. And like I said, I actually fall asleep sometimes back, and I wake up in my hands on my heart, which is kind of like a nice gift to wake up to anyway. So that's absolutely one thing I do that connects me. And then as my hikes, I can't go without them. Any sort of connection with nature, with trees, that's a daily.
Yeah.
That's for me.
How about you, Patrice?
Cool. First thing in the morning after I wake up, I say thank you. I'm looking out at the Hudson. I'm happy to see the beautiful river. And I remember what happened yesterday that I'm thankful for. And then I look ahead to, what's going to happen today, what I'm looking forward to. Like this being with you is part of my joy today. And then I'm looking forward to the rest of the week and whatever else I might be looking forward to. And that, gets me pretty pumped. And then I ask for, because I think it's important to ask for, tremendous joy. I think I shared once before that I used to only ask for joy, to please give me joy, or choices for joy. And then I experimented with, what if I asked for tremendous joy? And there was a big difference between the episodes of joy that I was able to count that day, from 8 to 10 to 25 to 30. So words matter. So ask for tremendous joy, and then be grateful for what you do receive, because I don't think that you can really have joy without gratitude. So we must be grateful.
That's awesome. I love that. And I just want to point out, Belinda, she said something beautiful. She said she gives thanks to God for the opportunity to live another day. And we'd love to know, if you're watching with us live right now, share with us, how you begin your day. What's a non-negotiable for you?
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Mr. Cyrus?
Yeah, I'm with Belinda. I mean, that's my first thing every day. I'm a person who I'm always thankful to wake up in the morning, because I know, unfortunately, not everyone does. And so I'm definitely, Belinda, I'm right there with you. I think that's what makes me go all day, every day, is that thankfulness. So I try to really live with that. I think more of being thankful than joy, but I guess maybe it is kind of the same thing. I have, so much gratitude for life, that I just try to make the most of it. So yeah, that's kind of my thing too, showing that appreciation when I first start the day.
And Rich, we got to hear yours.
Oh, right.
Shower.
I didn't say what I do. Yeah, I'm like Sherry, like you. I have like a litany of things that I know at work, and the same thing happens when I open my eyes in the morning. I'm not the kind of person that like opens his eyes and is like, yay, bluebirds are chirping. My partner Cody is, though. He literally like opens his eyes and he's like, good morning. How are you? What is that? I'm grateful for that. But I normally wake up before he does, or the dog. And I look to see, am I alive? And sometimes I say, thank you. And sometimes I'm like, Another
one of these.
But I do turn it into gratitude, because I am always grateful that I get to have another chance to live this life. And then I notice the things around me, and I'm grateful that they're alive. And that's the very first thing that happens. And then I, segue from there. And Sherry, actually, you inspire me a lot. I know I can count on that. There's going to be a video from you outside in nature. And that helps me to get out and and connect with nature, because that's just such an important thing. And I'm so blessed to live where I live, because it is just stunningly gorgeous, everywhere here. So I get to take all that in and just listen to the sounds of nature and be grateful that life is good. And even with the things that are not so great, I get to be present, to learn how to use those as experiences to help me grow, and then translate that to how I could help other people with what's going on in their world. So gratitude is the first thing.
I love that. It's weird about to call her out, Lark, because that's my mom. Mom says, live finally, always good to hear your wisdom and encouragement. And she's talking to you guys, not me. It's interesting, Rich, that, and Lonnie says, Patrice, yes, the power of words, very Hawaiian. I agree. Gratitude and joy are like peanut butter and jelly. I love that. God, now I want a PB&J.
Now I'm hungry.
Just this morning, I was taking a walk, and I was standing under my tree, and it's funny because people walk down the street and they see me, and I'm always just like looking up at them and just taking them in. And I know that they think that I'm crazy. And so sometimes I take my phone out just to take photos so they don't think that I'm literally just talking to the trees. But I am. And yeah, and my fiance, John, he always says, he was like, oh, did you spend the morning yapping to those trees? And then he would say, sorry, trees. But there's something so powerful just about, nature. I always feel like there's so much wisdom that we can learn just in the being of it, right? Like not that I know what a tree thinks, or maybe it doesn't think, but just the power of it being deeply connected and rooted. And then at the same time, like I look at the branches and how they just go. So they move, right? They move with the wind. They just, I don't know. I can go on and on about that, but I don't want to bore everybody with my tree talk.
No, but I love trees. I love that you love trees. In fact, I used to have a house in the country on the edge of a lake, and the lake was edged with a lot of trees. And we called the house Dancing Trees because, when the wind blew, you could see the trees and they were like dancing in the wind. So.
Oh, okay. I have to tell you this because the video I just made this morning, which I haven't posted, was about dancing trees. And the first time I saw them, we're in Italy, and it was like two ladies. I felt like they were dancing, and so I just talked about dancing trees today.
Yeah.
Wow.
See?
Sorry, like, yeah, okay.
Well, I'm a tree hugger too, for sure. And there's a lot of flowers blooming here, and as I'm walking by, there's a lot of rosemary bushes that grow here. So they're having the purple flowers right now. So I, brush my hands against them and smell the rosemary and talk to the bees and the squirrels. And we have wild parrots that live in our neighborhood, and they fly around squawking, and they're gorgeous green parrots. So I talk to them, and yeah, people probably think I'm crazy too, but I'm happy.
No, but I'm glad my friend Lonnie Yamasaki is watching this, because she's a Hawaiian cultural practitioner, and she teaches about live lokahi, which means live in harmony with nature, humanity, and source, right? So if you are living in balance with all three, then that is the way that you live lokahi, right? So
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've been to Maui, to Hawaii twice, and just your culture and just the way you look at life and things, like it was so inspiring to me how everything is, connected with nature, the earth and everything. And I didn't always feel like I was this way really till I moved out to California, and I've been out here 20 years. And when I started my hikes, and I just remembered or just started to feel a sense of peace no matter what was going on, in my mind, just that connection. So I just really encourage everybody, if you don't go out, to do it at least every day. Right. So anyone else wants to share what their morning ritual or routine is? I love that book. Can you show us that book again, Rich?
Yes. It's called Good Morning, Good Night, Little Pep Talks for Me and You by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I'm assuming most people know who he is, but he's most famous now for creating Hamilton, the Broadway musical. And before Hamilton, he really made his mark with a show called In the Heights, which is stunning, beautiful. I listen to that and it's like I cry and it motivates me. But I'm that way with Broadway music.
Yeah.
I cry to Evita too.
We can all cry together.
Yeah.
You guys, guess what time it is?
Yay!
It's time. Ooh, it's time for the heart to heart. So each and every week, you guys send in a question, and only our producer, Tracy, knows what is sitting in that vault. So we have no idea what this question is. So, Tracy, reveal to us, open up the vault. What have been learned behaviors since or during the pandemic, and will they continue in the new normal? Woo-hoo! Wow, look at that image too, Tracy. I know. Who's stockpiling on toilet paper forever now?
I get it delivered, so I don't have to worry about whether the stores have it in stock.
Yeah, John actually is now obsessed with always making sure we have toilet paper. So I think that's his new learned behavior that I'm like, honey, we have plenty. Does anybody want to? Well, first I want to thank, was that Joyce that sent in that question? I want to thank, sorry, I want to thank you. Oh God, good memory, Carrie. I want to thank Joyce first for sending in that question. And for any of you guys want to take this on first? Curious to know what you're thinking.
For me, I think one of the big things is the definition of work, I think, is a learned behavior that's changed. I can remember when I first started working for myself, my family didn't, just be honest, didn't respect the fact that I was not leaving the house to work because, everyone gets dressed, goes to work for somebody else. What do you mean you work for yourself? You mean you don't have a job? And I can remember, I'm sure you guys have heard this too. I can remember in 2005 when I went full time, and my mom would tell people, well, he works from home, and they would say, oh, that's cute, that he works from home. But I think now, people, they look at that with more respect, at least because, for one thing, I was working last year when other people were not able to, because I was able to adapt my work from home. And I think that whole idea, there was a report last week from Ford. They're allowing 30,000 of their management now to work from home indefinitely. And so I think that whole thing of getting dressed and going to an office and how we look at that, I think is changed because of the fact of not only the pandemic, but realizing what we can do from home and still be effective.
It's so true. There's so many businesses right now too that are now going to stay remote.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here, I think even if Facebook and I don't know who else, like so many of that, like that's changed. And the fact that we realize that we can do a lot more communication this way and you don't have to have people stuck inside an office all day. So that's a huge change.
Yeah, totally. And within all of that is video, right? And most people had to learn how to be on Zoom or other formats, other platforms. But video, like the numbers about video have just gone through the roof. It was already the leading way for communication, especially for marketing. But now in all facets of business, it is the way. And so I don't know that that's going to go away, even when things open up. I think a lot of business is going to get conducted, on Zoom or other platforms, as well as just marketing in general and communications and education is going to happen video based. So it's a thing that, for better or worse, people are learning how to work with that and learn how to do it well.
Yeah. And what I love about it is it makes everything you do accessible to everyone in the world, right? I can't tell you that how many things that I've done via Zoom this past year that I never thought I would, from attending a wedding to a funeral service, to a pajama party. Tonight I'm attending my friend's graduation from Harvard, which I wouldn't have gone to except it's on Zoom, so I'm going to go. You know, we've had galas on Zoom. We've had board meetings on Zoom. You know, even our TV show, you know, it's not Zoom, but I mean, we can do it via video technology. So in a way, it made people connecting a lot more accessible. Even my friend Lonnie, who joined us today, is from Hawaii, from the Big Island, and we watched movies together via whatever technology that was. So, you know, you can do so much and more online with other people from all over. That's not going to change.
No, but I do miss, of course, it's not going to, also doesn't replace being in person with people.
Right.
You know, I went to see my acupuncturist, who I haven't seen since the pandemic started. And that it was like surreal, you know, and it was very cool to feel the little acupuncture needles going into my body again. And, you know, that was like, oh, wow, these are things I haven't been able to do. I can't do that on Zoom, right? But just being able to have that interconnection. And I hope that when we are able to more freely connect in person with each other, that we will not take it for granted and really, you know, embrace it literally and appreciate what we have. And my friend Peter, who's watching, says, look forward to the day I'll once again eat cake that's been spit on by the person blowing out the candles.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it because I feel the same way. I want to be surrounded by people again. I've actually been working from home for 7 years, and I was already used to it, but I was able to, you know, go out on the weekends and see people. And I look forward to my changed behavior. Is I think I got so used to or take for granted seeing people in person, you know, because they were always there. And now I realize that you can't take anything or anyone for granted. So that's something that I've learned. And I didn't realize that I didn't know that, you know, because something like a pandemic, not that that's common, but anything can be taken away at any time from us. So just the appreciation for people. I know Belinda mentioned before that she's going to make more time for meditation, also connection. Like my family, on my father's side, we all speak weekly together on Zoom. We have a Zoom family call that has continued every single week that started during the pandemic. And so for me, it feels like, you know, Sunday morning breakfast together, all of us together. And we never did that before.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love really that. Cool. New traditions because of the pandemic, you know, new traditions that we want to continue post-pandemic. Yeah, I think that's great. Mm-hmm. And you're right, getting together in person is like a special occasion. Like yesterday, I had to go to the dentist. So then I decided, then I had to meet a friend for dinner. And so I was just walking around and I decided, I think I'm going to have a cup of tea by myself at this nice little cafe. And it felt like very special, you know, It's like, oh, wow. Going to the dentist is a special occasion.
I know I'm getting a mammogram on Friday and I can't wait. Oh!
Well, I have to tell you, my big whoop has been going to I go to Ralph's supermarket and I take my time going up and down every single aisle. It's like my spiritual getaway. Like what? Going to the supermarket? Because I work from home too. I have for years, but you know, every day for a whole year is a lot. I don't have a lot of reasons to have to go out, you know, outside of walking around my neighborhood. So going to the dry cleaners or going to the supermarket is like special.
Yeah.
But I look forward to, you know, having other kinds of special interactions with human beings, to be around them again.
Yeah. Cyrus,
guys, I think also showing appreciation. I think this whole idea of essential workers, hopefully that's something that stays with us, realizing how these people literally keep our world going, and not just the doctors, but I mean, going to the supermarket, the people who work in the supermarket, those who work in doctors' offices. I think hopefully that is something that stays with us, that it doesn't take something like this to happen to realize the impact that they have on us in our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on that note, Cyrus, speaking of essential workers, and these are workers that don't get talked about enough, but today is Cesar Chavez Day. And Cesar Chavez was a huge activist, and I was reading about him this morning, who really helped fight for farm workers' rights. And we take it for granted that that there's going to be food in supermarkets or however we get it. We take it for granted that it's there, but it's mostly immigrant workers, especially from Mexico and other Latin American countries, who make all that happen for us at awful wages and under awful conditions. And without that, we would all be, foodless, right? Mm-hmm. So I agree with you, Cyrus, putting a light on remembering the importance of the people that make our luxurious lives work at whatever life we're living, where we don't have to grow our own food or clean our own clothes or whatever it is. Like, there's those people who are doing that because that is their livelihood, and it's an opportunity for gratitude. I agree with you.
No, it's true, because the media has covered on an ongoing basis essential workers, people who clean the subways overnight so that, they're as germ-free as possible for ridership the next day, and people who are on the front lines in hospitals and other, healthcare service organizations, and teachers, right? I mean, all of these unsung heroes who have helped us to get through this pandemic. And I like it that we show ongoing gratitude for all of these people. And I hope that, as we emerge from the pandemic, we remember that and increase their wages, accordingly. Yeah. Right? Because we know, we can't really get by without these people who make, our world run.
Absolutely. Cody says, I find myself thanking all those essential people we used to take for granted. And it's, I'm just going to really repeat what you guys are saying, but I remember during the pandemic thinking about the truck drivers. I never thought about, to be honest, the truck drivers and what they did all night long to get us the things we need. We just become so accustomed to ordering something and it's there, and not thinking about all the steps that have to happen, to make that happen, to arrive at your door. So, and I remember walking, on one of my morning walks, this little kid had posted a drawing on her gate that was thanking the postman for bringing her stuff. And so this pandemic really, and I hope, as you said, Cyrus, Patrice, that it continues, that we continue this behavior, this gratitude, this recognition, this acknowledgement of the ways all of us support, the world and show up for each other. And I really hope that we're able to take that with us.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to thank all of you guys here for being here with us today on Heart to Heart. We love having you with us. If you have a question or a topic that you would like us to discuss, please email us at hearttohearttalkshow@gmail.com. That is an interesting dot. hearttohearttalkshow@gmail.com. And I just want to go around really quickly, and we'll do a lightning round for all of you to just, what is the one thing that you are most grateful for that came out of this last year for yourself? What is something? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
I'll just go. I'll start first then. I'll just say the communication that got better between John and I, my fiance.
Oh,
wow.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's fabulous.
Or I guess for me, it would be realizing what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that we can live in a Zoom world and, connect with more people than we normally would have been able to, so I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for me, it would be, with all the time we had on our hands, an opportunity to really revisit everything in my life and decide what didn't work anymore, what needed to go, and a new direction for my business came out of that. That really lights me up. So that is one of the gifts of the pandemic for me.
And then the biggest gift, one of them, is right here with you guys, heart to heart. And I want to thank all of you guys for being here today with us. Join us next Wednesday. Thank you, Tracy, behind the scenes, for your awesomeness. We love you and appreciate you. And thank you all for joining us today. We will see you next Wednesday for another episode of Heart to Heart. Please make sure that you go and share this, share the love, and remember to take care of your hearts and one another's. Bye, everybody. Bye, you guys.
Bye.